searched for. They are inevitable. They arrive with the same certainty with which day surrenders to night. Some hours bend, that grow, that breathe differently. Silence may seem like a companion. Entrapment. It's the open mouth of something that desires you to be the first to utter a word, to watch, to tumble.
I am called Miguel, and I have worked as a truck driver for more than a decade. I have driven on nearly every highway across the United States, from the never-ending plains of the Midwest to Colorado's steep mountains. Every journey is a fresh adventure, but one story still gives me chills. One that, for better or worse, I will never forget it. It was a night in October, and I was driving alone in my trailer. As I made my way down a rural road, the environment felt oddly quiet. I saw no other cars or lights far away. It was as if the world outside had simply disappeared. I had a couple more hours before reaching my destination, a small town where I used to deliver merchandise to a supply shop. I was weary, but I still felt very much awake and alert. Awake. I decided to switch on the radio, hoping to find music that would keep me alert. Suddenly, a blood-curdling scream filled the cabin. Help! Please, I need help! I was looking at the road when suddenly a voice came through the radio speakers, sounding like someone was in distress. But there were no indications of life on the highway. My heart raced powerfully. I turned off the radio, unsure if it had been a hallucination or a technical failure. But the echo of that scream lingered in my mind. Was it true that I heard that? I pressed on, attempting to rid myself of the discomfort I felt. Still, my anxiety heightened as I saw something in the distance. I noticed the flickering of a flashing light. It was a car, an old blue automobile that looked like it was stuck on the side of the road. I paused. As a trucker, my instincts told me this was the right decision. I got out. The night breeze was cold, and the silence around me felt unbearably heavy. As I approached the car, I noticed there was no one inside, but there was a trail of footprints in the dirt, surrounding the vehicle, as if someone had run away. A feeling of unease washed over me as I crouched down to look inside the car. There, on the passenger seat, I found a wallet. It was thin and open, revealing a photo of a woman and a child. The woman was smiling, and although she looked familiar, I couldn't remember where I had seen her. Perhaps it was just a simple coincidence. Suddenly, a loud thud sounded behind me, a dull noise that made the hair on the back of my neck stand up. I turned quickly, but there was nothing, only the gentle howling of the wind. My instinct told me I should leave, but I felt trapped, as if the place had a strange power that kept me there. I decided to return to my truck, but before I got there, I heard the same cry for help, this time closer and more desperate. "Help me, please." The voice came from a distance, and although I knew I should leave everything behind, something pushed me to follow the direction of the cry. I walked a few more steps, and before I knew it, I was in a small wooded area by the side of the road. The moon illuminated a path that led into the darkness, and for some reason, my feet led me to follow it. The further I went, the more intense the pleas became. They were unmistakable, close, and my heart was pounding a mile a minute.
At last, I found myself in a clearing where the trees parted, revealing a vast area.
And there I saw a figure. It was a woman. Her eyes were filled with terror, and her time-worn dress flowed around her. She reached out her hands to me, screaming for assistance. However, something didn't fit. As I got closer, I realized her eyes seemed empty, as if there was nothing inside.
"Please, I need your help. Save my son," she murmured.
Her voice was an echo in the air.
And I felt a chill. I looked,
but there was no child.
"Where's your kid?"
I inquired of the Boshin.
"He is on the path just behind you." And at that moment, everything transpired in a heartbeat. The light from my vehicle shone on a shadow racing along the road. It was a boy, a small child moving swiftly, far too fast to be real. I turned to one side, and when I looked back at the woman, she was gone. Fear took hold of me. I dashed toward the road, searching for the boy. But when I got to the place I saw the shadow, there was nothing. Not a single trace. The silence was even more intense than before.
I got back to my truck, completely shocked. The wallet remained there, serving as a poignant reminder of everything I had gone through. I went into the cabin. While I attempted to soothe my racing heart, the radio turned on again. "Help, help, I beg you, I beg, please help, please help, please help." However, this time the whisper was calm. I turned on the engine, leaving behind every trace of the events that had unfolded. However, when I glanced in the rearview mirror, I noticed the woman standing in the road, her expression empty and lost, reaching out her hands once more. As I distanced myself, her scream kept resonating in my thoughts, and I understood that this was no longer simply about another journey. A dark force had been trailing me from that location, and I would realize that every night on that road, I would hear it again.
Every encounter leaves a mark. It isn't always apparent. Occasionally, it feels like a mark on the soul, a reverberation that lingers in the depths of each new silence.
Did you notice what was supposed to remain? And now, the only question that is significant is no longer what, but what? What did you take?